Down here in front.
Neil Ostrout, Journal-Inquirer. For both guys, what kind of challenges does it bring playing such a big team? Obviously, they start 7'4", 6'9", and their best player might be 6'10" off the bench. Have you seen teams that big, and what kind of challenges are that?
Shaq, why don't you take that first, then we'll move to Ja.
It's gonna be tough. It'll be tough. We haven't matched up with a team with that type of size all year. We done seen some bigs though played against athletic teams. So we practice on things like that, but I don't think it's gonna bother us. We ready for the challenge.
Yeah.
They're a very long and athletic team. Like he said, we haven't seen a team like that before since I think Alabama. But we're just gonna go into the game the same way we've been going into every game. Just try to play our game and just do what we do.
Questions? Adam?
Adam Betts with the Journal-Inquirer. This is for both of you. Obviously, Ja had a great game yesterday, but the team as a whole played tremendous. I think you had 30 field goals and 23 assists. What do you need to do to keep that up tomorrow night against Florida State?
Jack?
We have a solid team. We know Ja get all the attention. We like it's amazing, but we at the same time we know how to handle that. And we know everybody gonna be keyed in on him tomorrow, so we just gonna make plays for him like we did against Marquette.
Yeah.
I'll say we just have a very talented group. We have a lot of people who can score the basketball, and we're very unselfish. Like you said, we had 23 assists yesterday. It's just how we play the game. Just try to, instead of taking a good shot, get a great shot. So really just try to go out and make the best of every possession.
Over here on the right, Mike.
Ralph Russo, AP for Ja. I guess I'm wondering what your off-season was like. You made such a big jump this season from very good freshman to, just All-America sophomore. What were you working on? What was your process like this off-season to make this big improvement?
I really just worked on the same things I've been working on most of my life, really the fundamentals. But I say I keyed in more on just shooting more game shots this year, coming off ball screens and such, and feel like I got way better at it.
More questions for the student athletes. Is that correct?
Kenny Roth, Murray State Radio Network. Talk a little bit about the culture at Murray State that attracted each of you to want to come play basketball and go to school at Murray State.
Jack?
We knew about the winning tradition, getting to the tournament, producing pros, and then the fan base, the family atmosphere. That's what I was looking for coming into my next school, me coming from JUCO, and Murray State brought me in, and I saw all those things, and that's why I chose Murray State.
Yeah.
Murray State is just it just has a great program, and really I say what brought me in was the family thing. I'm a big family person, and since day one they made me family, and they just made it, I guess, their job just to get me to come here, and I felt like I made a great decision.
Other questions for the student athletes? Oh, down here in the front.
Brian Franey with ESPN. For both you guys, can you just talk about what the whole deal is with the wrestling belts in the locker room?
Our coach Mac, he a huge wrestling fan, and one of our managers brought a wrestling belt last year to our first OVC game, and we just used it like our trophy, our motivation, and this year we added 2 more, so it's just something to look forward to. After a big win, we get to celebrate with the wrestling belts.
Like he said, Coach Matt is a big wrestling fan, and we just kept it going since last year. And this year, obviously, we won the regular season championship, won the OVC championship, and now we're looking forward to winning a national championship, and that's the 3 WWE belts.
Kenny Roth, Murray State Radio Network. Talk a little bit about each of you, the process that is so important to the Murray State basketball program, and as Coach McMahon alludes to, the getting ready for the next big thing that's there. How do you apply that to what you're doing now and preparing for Florida State?
It fit in well with this tournament right now because we played Thursday, more like we played Thursday, Saturday. So it's we going through it the same way we would if it was in a conference. Play that Thursday, celebrate that Thursday, and move on after that Friday, like today, and get prepared for Saturday.
Like he said, it's something we're used to, playing on Thursday, Saturday. So we just take every game, go into every game the same way, and we've been doing this really most of this second half of the season, playing Thursday, recovering Friday, focus on the team we got coming up Saturday, focus on them before the game, and then go out and just fight, try to get a win.
Any more questions for the student athletes? In the middle, right here.
Ed Marlowe, Paducah Sun. Guys, against Florida State tomorrow, what do you feel like will be the biggest challenge that you'll have to earmark going into the matchup?
Ja, why don't you take that first?
I'll just say their length. Like I said before, they're a very long and athletic team. Get after the ball some. So really, I think our focus will just be taking care of the ball. On the defensive end, we try to play the same. Just focus on trying to force team to take tough shots. Don't give them any easy looks. And I think really just taking care of the ball is be our main focus.
Jack?
Like he was saying, taking care of the ball, forcing it back like a terrible shot, and limiting them to one shot, and make sure we rebound. We know they're taller, tougher. It's gonna be a tough game, so we know we're gonna have to box out.
More questions for student athletes? Nobody? All set? Okay, then we'll excuse gentlemen. They'll be back in the locker room. The Racers locker room will be open for another 25 minutes or so. Thank you very much. We'll be back with Coach McMahon in about 10 minutes. Right in the middle.
Hi, Coach. Mark Tracy, New York Times. The story about Ja's high school recruitment has been oft-told. I wanted to ask slightly differently. Going from his freshman to sophomore year, so over this last summer, did he take a leap, or was it more he's just, due to the design of your team, able to showcase it more? And if he did take a leap, when did that happen and how?
Well, I think he did take a leap, but I do think he did not receive enough credit for the terrific freshman year that he did have. I think we talked yesterday, his numbers of almost 13 points, 7 rebounds, 6.5 assists a game, only been accomplished by 8 other players in the last 25 years of college basketball. So I thought there were plenty of signs for what was in store last year as a freshman, but it's a great credit to him and the work he put in the offseason. You see the growth in his game, but what I'm really most proud of, I think he's really grown and developed as a leader and has done an outstanding job of being a great voice and leader of our team.
Other questions? Down here in the left corner.
Adam Betts with the Journal-Inquirer. Coach, I asked your players, Ja obviously had a great performance yesterday, but the team as a whole did as well. 23 assists on 30 field goals. What do you need to do to keep that up against Florida State tomorrow night?
Well, I think when you talk about Florida State, there are a lot of things that jump out. The first to me is they're one of the elite defensive teams in all of college basketball. Tremendous physicality, great size at every position, make it really difficult on you to score around the basket. They turn teams over. We will certainly have to execute extremely well to be able to score against such a dominant defense.
Right down here in the front. Good, Mike.
Coach, Ed Marlowe, the Paducah Sun. You guys play Thursday, Saturday since January, and you've talked a lot about that rhythm this year, about the execution and the way that the week is played out. Is that something that you feel like maybe is a boon for your team going into Saturday, knowing that you've got the Thursday, Saturday bounce back?
I don't think so. I mean, we've been able to stay in this routine going on 11 weeks now and have kept things pretty similar last week we scrimmaged on Saturday during the long layoff to try and keep our guys in the same routine. But our guys know we have to just turn the page now and start to really focus in on finding ways to beat Florida State tomorrow.
Nicole?
Nicole Auerbach, The Athletic. Matt, I'm wondering if you can just kind of reflect on your coaching trajectory a little bit and just what it meant to get this opportunity at Murray State, a place you knew the culture and the program and the basketball excellence, and kind of how you go about sustaining that.
Well, I'm always forever grateful to Alan Ward, our former director of athletics, and Dr. Davies, our former president, who believed in me and gave me an opportunity. And as we built the program, we had to basically start over with our roster and the culture in the locker room. And it was not easy, and they were right there, extremely supportive, and really helped me along the way to get to this point. And then I think for us, what was really critical was this signing class when we were able to add Ja Morant, Tevin Brown, Shaq Buchanan, and then that spring, Anthony Smith. You're talking about 4 just relentless competitors, very unselfish players who are all about winning. And I think their 2-year record really reflects that. 54-10 now. 42 of those wins are by double figures. They've really made it a dominant 2-year run for our program.
Nicole?
Well, can you just reflect on, so you were in Ruston for like 2 weeks and then you get the call, like what that period of time is like?
Well, it was an interesting story. I'll try and go through it as quick as I can, but my college coach, Buzz Peterson, was named the head coach at the University of Tennessee. This was back 2001. I went with him to be a graduate assistant. My roommate was Eric Conkle, who is now the head coach at Louisiana Tech. So we got to be very good friends over the years. He's a rising star in the business, and we always talked about if one of us got an opportunity to be a head coach, the other one joining as an assistant. And so I got the opportunity to do that. Went to Ruston. I was there 2 weeks. And luckily for me, my family, we never moved. We never packed up a single box. We didn't buy a car. We didn't buy a house. And then out of the blue, Coach Prohm got the job at Iowa State, and I was fortunate to get the opportunity to come back and interview for the job at Murray.
Yeah, go ahead, Nicole.
So some of the players were talking about how high energy you are and how you're kind of bouncing off the walls even at 8 a.m. Is this like, are you a coffee person? Is this like natural energy? Where does this come from?
No, there's a drink that we do enjoy. I mean, it's all legal, but I'm not a coffee person. But no, I think I love what I do. I mean, we're coaching college basketball. We get to make an impact on young people's lives, hopefully help them be in a position when they leave Murray State to have great success, not only as basketball players, but as men, as fathers, husbands. And those things are very important to me. So I say it all the time. I wear shorts and T-shirts to work every day. I really have it made. So just very passionate and fortunate to get to do what we do.
Right over here.
Kevin Bogard, OVC ball. You go back in that locker room right now. Everyone seems very relaxed. How is it to have guys that can go from being loose and relaxed to knowing when it's time to focus? And it seems like that's something that these guys have been good at all year.
I think it's really important, and these guys have been able to strike that balance. I think that's one of our biggest strengths. Excuse me, is the chemistry of our team. I think we have guys who get along really well. They're all in, bought into what we're trying to do. They love playing together. They love winning together. And I talk to them about it all the time. It should be fun. I think sometimes that gets lost in the business side of college athletics. I want them to have the absolute time of their lives playing. They've put in the work. We give them basically Christmas Day off, and they work the other 364 days out of the year. So you only get so many game days. They need to go out and enjoy it and just play and have the time of their lives.
Right here in front.
Coach Ed Marler from the Sun. You talked a little bit about it a few minutes ago, but how do you beat Florida State, and how do you guys execute your game plan tomorrow to perhaps come away with the win?
Well, there's a long list of things that we'll have to get marked off if we want to have an opportunity to win tomorrow. I touched on their elite defense, so our ability to execute at the offensive end will be critical. Obviously, you see they have great size at every position. They're relentless to the offensive glass. Can we compete with them on the boards, I think will be important. How we're able to guard them will be critical. I mean, it's, this time of year, you're not going to play any bad teams. So we'll have to play very, very well to have an opportunity to win tomorrow.
Go ahead.
Kenny Roth, Murray State Radio Network. Coach, talk a little bit about Ja Morant being the latest of the Murray State point guards to have success, but the string of guards that have come through recently, and why that culture has cultivated the players at Murray State that can go on and have success after college.
Well, I think during my 8 years, I've been very fortunate to recruit. We've been able to recruit some great point guards. I mean, it starts there. And then I really believe in our player development program, helping guys get better on and off the court. But it started for me getting to be an assistant and Coach Isaiah Cannon, Cameron Payne, two terrific players, both NBA draft picks who have over a combined 10 years in the NBA of experience. And then Jonathan Stark, who was such an elite player for us our 2 years, is having great success in the G League as part of the Timberwolves organization. I think it says a lot about him. Jonathan averaged 22 points and almost 6 assists a game as a junior at the point guard position. And after Ja's first day on campus, going into his senior year, he came in and said to Coach Nichols, hey, Ja's going to start for us from day one. And so we went to the 2-point guard attack that year, and it worked out really well for us with the championship and NCAA tournament appearance. And now Ja's the latest, and I think we have a couple more great ones on the way. So I think for me, when I talk with our coaching staff, it's about recruiting, scouting, and then the player development program. How much time are you going to invest in our players, in the gym, off the court, building those relationships? I think those are what help players build that trust and keep getting better while they're at Murray State.
Other questions? Right down here in front. Mike?
Coach, Ed from the Sun. Obviously, Ja and the rest of this team has had a great trajectory just the last 2-3 years. But yourself as a head coach, you're starting to have that trajectory as well. How do you keep yourself grounded in the moment here in Hartford and perhaps keep it going as the head coach at Murray State?
I don't worry about trajectories and all that stuff. I just trying to help build the Murray State program as strong as we can, make sure we're investing a lot of time and energy and care in our players, help them get better. I always try and keep things in perspective. For me, growing up, I always wanted to play in the NCAA tournament. It was always a dream of mine. Skipped school as a little kid so I could stay home and watch the tournament all day. Wanted to play in it one day, was fortunate to get that opportunity. And then when you see what a great experience it was as a player, I want our guys to get to experience those same things. So that's what it's all about for me, is making sure our players have a great experience while they're at Murray State. And I think if we do things the way we want them done, the culture is built the way we want it, the foundation's in place, the winning and all that will take care of itself.
Any other questions for Coach McMahon? Nope. Okay, then we'll excuse him. You can go to the locker room.
Thank you.
Locker room.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Once again, Murray State and Florida State, game time 6:10 tomorrow night, with the winner advancing to the West Regional in Anaheim.